Today's topic really is very important, I think, to all of us, to all women and men also actually. But we're discussing women's reproductive health, and thanks to strides made and some of the good doctors here, even if there are ways out, there are options, you don't have to just depend on jo haath mein likha hai, jo kismat mein. There are people here who change kismats also. I mean, Dr. Firoza Parekh, you have made so many people happy, whether it is Neeta Ambani, whether it's Farah Khan, there is a whole lot of celeb list also with you. So a bit about the IVF procedure, because a lot of people don't understand. There is also misconceptions that it's not available to everybody. So if you can explain to our audience, what is IVF?
Hello everybody, I'm Firoza and
No. Mic is on.
Check.
Hello everybody, good evening. I'm Dr. Firoza Parekh. Priya, thank you. I've enjoyed the previous two sessions.
Good to have you here.
Fashion is not my forte, but I learned quite a lot from all of you. Thank you. So, there is a thought that IVF is unnatural, IVF gives abnormal babies, or IVF makes you infertile later on, or brings about a menopause early on. But really speaking, and I'm sure all of you will agree with me, that IVF is as natural and as close to nature as you can get. Because in IVF, what you are doing is you are mimicking all the steps in nature. IVF is done for many reasons, whether it's a female problem or a male problem. Just to give you a little bit of the physiology. At the time of ejaculation, millions of sperm are ejaculated, but only one, the best swimmer, is going to meet the egg.
Okay.
So the egg is the jewel, and the poor sperm has to go through, actually fight against the stream and climb up what is miles and miles to reach the jewel. So what happens naturally is mimicked in the IVF lab, where we give some hormonal injections to the lady to produce more than one egg. We have the sperm which is prepared on the day of the egg retrieval, and then we make the union of the egg and the sperm by different techniques.
Okay. One
One technique is IVF, the other technique is ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Fortunately for us, at Jaslok in 1994, we had the first ICSI baby in Southeast Asia, Love Singh. Today Love himself is a grown-up handsome Sardar.
Interesting.
So we are just mimicking everything that would otherwise happen, and then this little embryo, which is not even 100 microns in size, is kept in the warmth of an incubator in a special culture medium and allowed to grow, and at the right stage put back into the woman's uterus. So actually IVF actually mimics nature. That's in a nutshell about IVF. But there are so many nuances. From IVF has born ICSI, from IVF has come the whole offshoot of stem cells. From IVF we now have genetic testing of the embryo. So genetics and IVF got married with a very happy union, because today even fertile women and fertile couples can have genetic problems, like somebody has a baby with Downs, somebody has a rare genetic mutation,
Right.
which can be helped with IVF.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And Dr. Manika Khanna, she's also the founder and CEO and chairperson at the Guardian IVF and Women Healthcare. Dr. Manika, a little bit about what do you do, and the couples that come to you, is there an age beyond which even IVF doesn't help? Do you advise women, because today we are career women, now the biological clock can be defeated because of IVF. Can we freeze our eggs? You have solutions like that, do you?
Is my wife?
I think there is a...
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, great.
So lovely being here, and we heard a lot about looking great on the outside, and then about holistic healing. So all that's great, but then I think a child to reproduce is the natural right, something which comes very naturally to a woman. And I think our job is to enable as many of them who are finding it difficult to fulfill that dream. And so Gaudium started with a small center, but we are now a nationally present chain of IVF clinics throughout the country, starting from Jammu and Kashmir, that is Srinagar, where you'll be surprised to know...
You did Bharat Jodo before Rahul Gandhi.
Exactly, I should. So you'll be surprised to know that Srinagar has a heavy load of infertility, and that is just a testimony to what stress can do to our lives, you know, the years of stress they underwent. And yeah. So coming to your question that age, of course age is a very, very important factor, and no better than an IVF specialist knows that the earlier the woman gets diagnosed correctly and reaches to IVF if she requires an IVF, higher are her chances to get pregnant. Because, you know, men don't have menopause because the testis keeps producing sperms every few months. But women have a menopause because we are born with a fixed deposit of eggs. It's like money in a bank account sealed. So you keep using it the moment you start menstruating. And you know,
why is it called sperm bank then? We are the ones with the bank and the real currency.
So our currency is inside, right? So the currency keeps falling short as age progresses. So the faster we use our currency, the higher is going to be the chances of us getting a baby. So yes, but career is important. We women in medicine who have a career, I think we are 29 by the time we finish studying. So so you can't stop careers. So IVF is now giving you a beautiful option where you can, if you haven't met the right partner, you're not ready for marriage yet, you know, you can come freeze your oocytes, your eggs can be frozen and can be preserved for a significant length of time, and they can then be used on a later date when you find the right partner or you find the right time to carry a baby.
Okay. We also have Dr. Chaitali Mahajan Trivedi. She's a gynecologist, endoscopic and cosmetic surgeon. So, cosmetic gynecology, that's a very interesting term. What exactly does that mean?
Hello? Yeah. Well, let me start from the beginning. So, after I finished my obstetrics and gynecology, I decided to do laparoscopic surgery, which is again a cosmetic surgery from normal surgery. So, normal surgery is like an open surgery where we cut open and operate. Then we switched over to laparoscopy, where we make very tiny holes that's like half centimeter or 1 centimeter openings, and the whole surgery is performed through these small openings. So the advantage being that whatever the size of the tumor, even if it's a 10, 15, 20 centimeter tumor, it can still be removed through these small openings. And that is how we also got the Guinness World Record for removing the largest uterus of 4.1 kilos laparoscopically. Now after we were done with laparoscopy for around 10-15 years, so then I thought, now what next? So then we got into cosmetic gynecology. Now this is a comparatively new term or new field which is now coming up in a very big way. It is more related to the genital area for the women, and it helps in enhancing the area, or if there is a pathological problem in that area, it also helps in healing that.
Enhancing the area meaning?
Meaning we do cosmetic procedures like skin lightening, hair removal, or
aesthetically enhancing.
Yes, yes. Or sometimes the labia minora, or the inner lip, as we call it, is a little larger, which harbors a lot of infection, and patients do get recurrent infections, UTIs because of that. So we help in trimming that, and that gives a better look and also a better hygiene to the woman. So that is how we do it cosmetically. The most common or the most well-known surgery is the hymenoplasty surgery, which is quite in demand nowadays. So also women who are postpartum, which means they have completed their family, delivered vaginally, so there is a laxity in the vagina. We can help in tightening it through various invasive, like a surgical or non-surgical procedures. So these are a few of the surgeries that we would consider under cosmetic gynecology.
Thank you for that. And lastly, I of course I had the ladies first, but we have Madan Mohit Bhardwaj. He's the founder of She Wings, and he's also an old friend of ours. In fact, he's doing some very good work in the field of menstrual hygiene. Madan Mohit was actually a journalist, and I think part of his, if I can tell your story, or rather you would tell it, he actually was going to the rural areas where he was working with people below the poverty line, and he found out that women actually don't have access to sanitary pads. Some of them use old clothes during those days. Some families even have one panty which they all share amongst them during the months where they need. So this whole awareness and access is something that he and his whole team, the NGO, is doing on ground. So Madan, incredible work. But if you can just tell us about the the levels of awareness and how you're making. I know you're carrying your product also with you, but a bit about how are people becoming more acceptable. Is now we can even talk about sanitary pads. Early on a stage like that, we would not be uttering words like that.
So Priya, We Women Want is one of the best platform to showcase women in various capacities, and this is one of the best panel where you have an amazing gynecologist of the country. Women disposes 380 kilogram of sanitary dispose per year in a lifetime. Imagine the kind of waste we are creating for future generations. We work on, there are two parts of reproductive system. One is the wellness, another one is the cure. See, the cure is being done by here, and we work on wellness. When we thought after working on ground for more than 12 years, we realized that a 12-year-old girl child never uses the same shampoo, same face cream than a 45-year-old mother. Their creams were different. Their lingerie brands were different. As per our studies and surveys, a 13-year or a 12-year-old girl child never take her mother's advice seriously. They have owned their choices.
I think there is no age for that. No daughter will take her mother's advice seriously.
Mother to a 15-year-old, and I can vouch for that.
So we have recently launched India's first minor-friendly sanitary pad. If you could see, this is one of the best product entire world could see, and this is very soon coming on Nykaa and Amazon. And we have created this with 100% viscose. Plastic causes a lot of disease. Doctors know, and everyone we have realized now. We think twice and thrice putting any face cream on our putting on face, or a lotion or a shampoo, but we never think putting anything. We can randomly put anything in our vagina. This is something we need to think.
That's a very loaded statement.
No, I'm sorry to say, but women need to think that whatever product they are using, this has paraben, this has plastic, and I would say that with lot of research, if you use a non-plastic product or a product which is made of 100% viscose, it might have a wetness, but it would not cause you skin rashes and other disease. I mean, I'm sure Dr. Chitali must enlighten more things that how plastic and non-plastic things affect your vaginal skin.
Okay. Do you want to come answer that?
Yep. I think the awareness. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Thank you. So the awareness to using hygienic products or organic products which do not affect the skin of the genital area is very, very important, and the prolonged usage of these products, also the time duration with which you change these products, all this contributes to cancer in a later stage. So it is very, very important, especially from the initial stages of life, to train your body or train yourself to using good organic products, and for only maximum 6 hours or 8 hours after which you need a change. It's very, very important.
Okay. Dr. Parekh, if you can help us understand a bit about, what is the oldest age woman that you have actually been successful with the IVF, and are there any do's and don'ts?
Before we go on to this question, may I just add a little bit?
Please.
I want to sensitize everybody to the role of plastics and what is known as endocrine disrupting chemicals. which we eat, we breathe, gets absorbed from our skin. We've done a very large study at Jaslok Hospital, and what we have shown is that, you know, even your ATM receipt that you carry in your hand will have a very toxic substance called bisphenol A. Not these plastic bottles, but plastic jars, plastic containers, Teflon coated pans, things which we take so much, you know, we use it and just dispense them off. These are the main sources for endocrine disruptive chemicals. And today there is a revolution by which we are harming ourselves, not only ourselves but our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren, because these get bioaccumulated, and we being on the top of the food chain, it accumulates in us the most. Therefore today we see young girls at the age of 8 or 9 entering their menarche fast, and young women even at the age of 34 getting menopause fast. So what is endocrine disrupting chemicals do? They feminize the male and masculinize the female. So we are seeing more of polycystic ovaries, young girls, teenagers. We see them with lots of problems with androgens, the male hormones. Today in the world, and we've done a study where we've looked at the fall in sperm parameters in males visiting our clinic. And over the last 11 to 12 years, we've kept a track. And you will be a little scared to know that yes, the sperm parameters are falling. Not only sperm parameters, but the DNA substance of the sperm is changing. And I would urge you all to read a very beautiful book written by a researcher called Shanna Swan. What Shanna Swan has shown, and it's called Countdown. It's about the decline in sperm parameters and how environmental factors are affecting human reproduction. So let us be acutely aware of what we eat, what we drink, what we breathe, not so much for ourselves, but for our future generations. It's very important.
Very well said. And also the stressful lives we lead, I'm sure that adds to the infertility.
Absolutely.
Right? Dr. Manika, also a bit more on the reasons of infertility, you know, if you would like to add some more, again, especially young girls. I remember doing a show on IVF and everybody said, oh, you know, we all want to be this modern working woman, but stress se infertility hoti hai, why do you want that 9 to 5 job? So there is that just nuksa, or is it actually true? I think you need a mic.
This is working?
This is working.
Perfect. Okay, so the reasons are many, but I'll highlight the major ones. One, as you said, that yes, stress is definitely having an impact on our system. The work-related stress, time-related stress, all of this, you know, leads to a disturbed hormonal rhythm inside the body. And you know, the main female hormones are regulated right from here, from the brain. So the FSH and LH would direct the ovary to manage the progesterone and the estrogen, and this is how the mess up starts. And this is along with the plastics, as ma'am mentioned, these are the other things which are causing so much of hormonal imbalance even in young girls, and women are attaining earlier menopause. Ovarian reserves are really going down like crazy. Now, you know, these days there is a test known as AMH to measure the ovarian reserve. When I was doing my MD, you know, we would see all levels, most of the levels within the normal range of 4.5 to 6.8. Today, I rarely see them. Like, I see everyone below 3, even girls in their 30s, you know. So this is an alarming thing. Ovarian reserves are going down with age, and that is happening because of stress, that is happening because we are playing with the normal biological circadian rhythm of the body. So, you know, sleeping in the morning, working late in the night, those night shifts. So you're going against the biological clock. That's an additional factor. Other than that, yes, polycystic ovarian syndrome, especially in the north part of our country, and it is also linked to the rise in diabetes. You know, we are becoming the diabetic capital of the world, and hence PCOS is rising. They are interlinked diseases. And thirdly, menstrual hygiene, as he mentioned, being organic, great, and it has to be done. And more than that, we need to really penetrate down the country. 42% of rural women still do not use a menstrual pad. So we need to penetrate down, just an idea for you, penetrate inside of our country, because in the state of Bihar I have many centers, and we see that reproductive infections, especially tuberculosis, is one of the major cause of tubal block and hence infertility. So that's the second major reason. And then to add to it, there is endometriosis as a disease that adds to it, and decreasing sperm counts. So we've had a study over the last 13 years across the country in all our centers, and this is one common factor, that male infertility is rising. And the good part is that 13 years back, when we would ask the male partner to get investigated, it would say, "Arey, main to theek hu, mere mein kya problem hai?" So today at least men acknowledge they're ready for a semen sample examination when we start examining the women. So yeah, things are changing.
But who is the first to come to get examined, the man or the woman? The woman.
I think it's invariably the woman.
Dr. Parekh is nodding.
As a couple, they've started coming now at least. Yeah.
We see the thing.
Hello. Yes. The male partner has become more receptive, takes the responsibility of bringing his partner, is usually there for most of the important appointments, and he does more than contribute just a semen sample on the day of the IVF. So I think the male partner is now more enthusiastic and definitely lends a support to his wife.
So there is some evolvement.
Yes.
But Madan, just when you go and talk to people and families about menstruation, you also go to the lower income groups. He does a lot of work over there also. What is the feedback that you get and the acceptance? You must be going to talk only to the women folk, or do you also go to the men folk?
So we talk to initially we used to talk to women in their houses. So men used to be offended that what are they talking to our wife? These are secret things. And in families in Bihar and Chhattisgarh, when we were distributing sanitary pads, there used to be 4 girl and 1 mother in a family, and all those 5 refused to take sanitary pad. They said, bhaiya, hamare yahan par, they told this to their local Anganwadi Karyakarta, that out of these 5 female in a house, only 1 used to wear panty, whoever used to go through cycle. So personal hygiene is not possible without these undergarments. So we started a campaign on undergarments also. We distributed more than 30 lakhs undergarment around the country. One very surprising and shocking information I would reveal here. While bringing this product, we had done a lot of research with teenage schools, teenage girls and gynecologists. One of our gynecologists, who is a very affluent gynecologist in part of South Delhi, she informed that most of their teenage patients, most of the girls, before they enter into college, they are consuming 15 to 20 times contraceptive pills. Imagine the contraceptive pills, young girls of 15, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old girls are consuming this. So contraceptive pills cannot be an option. It's very, very risky for, the doctors would suggest better. And now what we have, most of these young educated girls pass out from IITs and IIMs, they don't think twice even taking contraceptive pills. They avoid using protection, right? Even men also feel that, it's not an easy option. They don't get pleasure if they use protection. I'm being very vocal here. While we shall always think, a woman is sufferer here. If you do not use protection, a woman is always sufferer, which harms your reproductive system.
Dr. Trivedi, male infertility also and the use of contraceptives. I would like your view on that.
Yeah. First of all, what he meant by contraceptive pills is the emergency contraceptive pills. The normal contraceptive pills are still fine, and we would still advise the young girls to use them. But the emergency contraceptive pills, which is, marketed as the I pill, majorly known in the youngsters in the market, that is the one which is the root cause of all the problems. The girls don't know and actually it is also marketed in such a way. So they think, okay, every time we have a relation, we just take it. It is every 5 days also they will take it, every 10 days also they will take it. I have had girls come with such huge problems and such irregular periods, and when you go actually into the depth of it, you get to know, okay, they are just popping pills every now and then. So they need to be really educated. While it's advertised in such a way, they still need to know that it is still harmful for the body, and it has to be taken in a particular pattern, and it's an emergency. Emergency happens probably once a year. It doesn't happen every day. That's the most important part, and that is also leading to this most common PCOD problem, and low reserves and irregular periods has come very common. And also after COVID, I am seeing a lot of heavy periods in young girls and irregular periods.
Stress related.
Yeah, it is more stress related, and also I think the virus has caused a little change in the clotting mechanism of the human body. Somewhere it causes excessive blood flow, and somewhere it causes excessive clotting, leading to early heart attacks and stroke problems in younger women and younger patients. So with this erratic behavior happening, OSO pills also have their own contribution to thromboembolic phenomenon or strokes and all these problems. So it has to be taken regularly, and barrier contraception, as in he's mentioned condom, we have the male as well as the female condom also available, which is the best option and the most harmless option in most of the cases, which can be easily used, and that should be promoted in the younger generation as of now.
Okay, but a bit about the older generation, Dr. Parekh. My earlier question to you, the oldest patient that you have been able to, succeeded with an IVF, is there an age limit?
Hello. See, the human body is a miracle in itself, but there are certain limits both for males and females. My cutoff is usually 44 to 45. I don't like to go beyond that. You can even make a 70-year-old woman pregnant, but is it ethical? Is the baby healthy? Because the baby may be healthy, but the mother is not. There have been instances where doctors have performed IVF on 70 years old women, and the poor lady has died after a month of the child being born.
Probably to satisfy the ego of an 80-year-old husband.
And they were trying for a long time, and then some doctor popped up and said, I can make you pregnant. So sure, you can even make a 90-year-old pregnant, but is that an option that you should exercise judiciously? Being a doctor gives you the moral authority to take decisions which are in the interest of the couple. So I think there should be a cutoff. Up to about 45, a woman can run around, go to school with the kids. But after a while, getting up in the morning, taking the child to school, having her own problems with dyslipidemia, menstrual irregularities, obesity. So we need to see the whole picture in perspective. So definitely I think the cutoff should be 45, because that's the age where there are certain changes in our metabolism.
Thank you. And last to you, Dr. Manika, is from what I can gather from Dr. Parekh, a lot of your work also involves counseling. So do you also do that, all of you? You can.
Oh yes, counseling is the heartbeat, I would say, of our work. Because, though things are changing, IVF has been taboo for a very long time, and people don't want to discuss in their families or tell about. Even जो IVF से pregnant होता है, वो हमें जाते जाते बोल के जाता है कि मैम I'll be sending a patient, but उसको मत बताना कि मेरा IVF हुआ था. It's like that. So yes, counseling is a very important part, and as ma'am said right in the first sentence, that it is nothing unnatural. It's just that we are just assisting achieve what nature assists naturally. And to counsel them that this is a procedure, this is a science that can also fail, it might require multiple attempts. The emotional ups, emotions, finance and physical effort, all three go into doing an IVF cycle for the couple. So for them to understand that it's a journey, it may not click at the very first go, it may take time, is very important. They should know the ins and outs of it before they enter. And once a patient gets of one cycle negative, you need to even spend more time. So I tell all my doctors, spend more time with this patient than with the positive one. Okay, she's happy, she's gotten pregnant, we've gotten her there. So the negative one needs more counseling because she has to be reassured that yes, she can reproduce, she should believe in herself, and it can happen. And there are very few like Shilpa who are open talking about it. So yes,
that helps. In fact, that's why conversations like this are taking place, to create more awareness that there is not the end of the road, but there is a gate there really. But thank you so much, and I compliment you on all the good work that you've been doing, and thank you for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.